Thus have I heard. Once the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha at Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a great gathering of Sangha of monks and a great gathering of the Sangha of Bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the Samadhi that expresses the Dharma called profound illumination. And at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, while practicing the profound Prajnaparamita, saw in this way. He saw the five skandhas to be empty of nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, how should a son or daughter of noble family train who wishes to practice the profound Prajnaparamita? Addressed in this way, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, said to Venerable Shariputra, O Shariputra, a son or daughter of noble family who wishes to practice the profound Prajnaparamita should think this way, seeing the five skandhas to be empty of nature. Form is emptiness, emptiness also is form, emptiness is no other than form, form is no other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, perception, formation, and consciousness are emptiness. Thus, Shariputra, all dharmas are emptiness. There are no characteristics. There is no birth and no cessation. There is no impurity and no purity. There is no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no perception, no formation, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no dharmas, no eye dhatu up to no mind dhatu, no dhatu of dharmas, dhatu, no ignorance, no end of ignorance up to no old age and death, no end of old age and death, no suffering, no origin of suffering, no cessation of suffering, no path, no wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, since the Bodhisattvas have no attainment, they abide by means of Prajnaparamita. Since there is no obscuration of mind, there is no fear. They transcend falsity and attain complete nirvana. All the Buddhas of the three times by means of Prajnaparamita fully awaken to the true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the great mantra of Prajnaparamita, the mantra of great insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra that calms all suffering should be known as truth, since there is no deception. The Prajnaparamita mantra is said in this way. Teata om gate gate parasangati bodhisoha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound Prajnaparamita. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, thus it is, O son of noble family, thus it is. One should practice the profound Prajnaparamita just as you have taught, and all the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Venerable Shariputra and noble Avalokiteshvara, Bodhisattva Mahasattva, that whole assembly in the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas rejoiced and praised the words of the Blessed One. Chandarasamaraya Vede Ata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangati Buddhisoha Baba Gunju Sonji Gai Tempe Doji She Robo Doji Mebo Doji Shewa Doji Dagi Baji Metum Beju Donji Shedin Goyi Zoha Ngiri Nunya Yejo Yiwada Mido Beje Danyawada Nomba Junim Punzun Zunyori Nashi De Janina Leleyo. The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. Holy Lamas high, wrap the sky of your Dharma bodies in massive clouds of knowledge and love, and let them pour upon the earth of your disciples as we are ready, a shower of rain, the teachings deep and wide. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Gam Niradayami Jadan Jaji Jadam La Janjo Badu Dani Jazoji Nagi Juni Jibezunam Ji Rola Benji Zanye Rubarjo Jadan Jaji Janam La Janjo Badu Dani Jazoji Nagi Juni Bezonam Drola Benji Zanye Rubaryo Jadan Zaji Janam La Janjo Badu Dani Jazoji Nagi Chunye Bezonam Drola Benji Zanye Rubaryo.
What the Masulando, what the London do the Masulando, the go to that Chongon did the Chuju, which was on the Shivashas, go to what you are smart. Chongon did the Chuju, which was on the Shivashas, Jebichu Chongo, Chongo the Tumula, Ding and did the Tumula, and Chibi La, what the Sunsu, Marba. Then no Lula Takarsu, Sanjik and Dog, TJ Teme, Dagno.
Atisha's Lamp for the Path to Enlightenment, considered the root text for this teaching, begins with a quote that states, understand that there are persons of three capacities, small, middling, and great. I shall write clearly identifying their characteristics. Atisha's lamp for the path to enlightenment contains all of the teachings of the Hinayana tradition, the Mahayana traditions, all the teachings of Sutrayana, all of the teachings of Tantrayana. They are all contained within Atisha's lamp for the path to enlightenment. So this quote at the beginning of this that says three capacities, small, middling, and great, is referring to practitioners who engage in three specific pathways. Those pathways that are in common with beings of small capacity, those pathways in common with beings of medium capacity, and then those pathways for beings of great capacity, those pathways of the great vehicle. So this is what is meant by those three capacities. They're referring to those three pathways.
아디샤고 뜻송바데 가서르다 아준데네 봉니체 제동 바나루레 안에 다동의로 시여 다도 상주 선바 다동의로 상주 선바부터 사바 말베 다동와서 다바 공의도 거지로다 그라이
Okay.
의도 그 상주 선바 인사 온 제동게 마තු노도 그 다음에 봐서서 나지 제동게 다동의로 원차자 다동의로 나로를 사지가 버지송 거래서 말베 그 가르쳐 버렸으나 번나가서 힐 도근 다 포이나 힐도다 이렇스르베 어 도기 이런 힐 포이나
Arrow.
아니 그 네바데 그 되는 힐데 도근 다 해야 담 해봐 돼야 담해 대마도 상례제다 용마로 어떻게 되자네데 제부 중을 거서 네 나송도 동에데 나송도 동에 산다운디 제부 중을 가서도 설레 힐도나 포바나지기 마데 마치바요 거레스 내가 누구 상바 셰시바요 거레스 제부 중도 어떻게 됐다레스 말베 다 제부 딩 거서 다드네 쿠동에 제가 나시 동에 주의 동에 차반 주의 동에 두산 다운디 다 가서 힐다 포바나지기 안에 마지바 동에 쳐보여 와르스 들링가 봐 주는가 봐 내가 삼바 테메 봐서 인사를 테메 봐서로 대상상로 와르스 다시 아주 삼바 돌래 안에 세제 타지가 동안 산 다운디 세제 타지 동안 나와대 안에 아주 삼바 통화 산 통화 대체 안에 아주 삼바 힐 나포바나지 마도여 와르스 안 해주 공야 되는 인사를 어떤 게 당을 로드다 총문대도 주지부송 시바든 잡도스
And the Detsu, the Shironang, the Jidumba, the Ni, the Detsu, the Nyanja Suranang, that's Selbuyomari, the Bu, that's Selbuyomari, the Jibuchungu Den Chambo Selbudu Yene, the Bu, that's Selbuyomari.
다드네
Ungamebachi.
가서 고물로도 달루이네야 봄 예치제동 어떻게 되는 거 말이야 다 뒤바데 다 통사지 제동 말이야 제동을 로모요 나네 샤주사바 다동의 로시요르다 당의 로스 샤주사바 너그 샤주사바 임발라 뒤다동의 괜지 코라이
Shanchu Semba Yimba, the Dayan Da Kong Ngugudu.
그거 당의 로스 당의 다바 코라이스 그
Dakpar.
다바 공무원스
Ale.
어디 로지어 찾아
Ale.
예동이야
Okay. Then
어떤 어떻게 잡았어
and then Drapodu, the
example and 힐다 도다 보바이나
arrow.
힐다 보바이나
There.
된 나사요 견되게 아니 그 돈다도 받도야다 매바다 매산도 못 산도 해다 요모 example 시에서 근데 나지 아니 좀 좋은 되게 내 속도 동에 산다마 되지 힐다 보바나지 마지고 요르스 아니 내 속도 동에 뭐야 뒤죠 군요 뭐야 어떤 게 산로 요르스 총무들 대단해서와 진들다 그 동에 참도 잡아도 그런 걸로 세미세 흰달 보바나지 마지고 내고 삼바 그 동에 참을린 게 봐주는 거 조사받이 말이야. 다 상주 삼바 속에 세제 동에 여러다 세제 제다가 동에서 생비스 힘다 보고나지 상주 삼바 속 맞이 봐요.
네.
아니 해주 공부를 삼바 공부.
오케이.
어떤 다
So the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras are of various lengths and varieties. There's the 100,000 verse, the 20,000 verse, the 8,000 verse, and then the smaller Perfection of Wisdom Sutras, such as the Heart Sutra. And in the 8,000 verse Perfection of Wisdom Sutra, there's a chapter. There are many different chapters in that text, but there's one specific chapter that refers to the bodhisattvas always always crying, always crying. And here, there are different objects of negation or different points that are made in each of these different scopes along the pathways. So there are different points. So the Rinpoche gave the example of shooting an arrow at a target, and here the Bu Yanjer
But 다시는 도근다. 도근 다시는 힐 대바이나.
The Nila, Shana.
힐 포바이나. 아니 네바델 때는 군다도 받어야 다 도매봐줘야 다.
Okay, yeah, I had it.
팬 산마도 인다요 말로. then 제부 example. 그 제부 중원되게 나서 동영상 담아 뒤에서 힐 도다 포본다 요아르스. 그 마지막에 나서 동엘에 내가 중에 가지고 삼바. 아니 나서 동에 줘 레지 군요도 요모베 군요 본데가 삼바. 아니 뭐 좀 추린 저도 나와도 생각 말봐. 디바샤나지야.
Okay. So if one is then shot with an arrow, for instance, he or she would want to be free from that specific occurrence, so that specific form of suffering. That there wouldn't be some other thought at that moment. It would be a wish to be free from that specific type of suffering or unpleasantness, machipa, something that's unpleasant. So here, in each of the different scopes, there is a specific object of negation, or specifically something that is looked at as something to be free from, or to wish to be rid of, if you will. Just like the arrow, one wishes to be rid of. In the small scope, one wishes to abandon the suffering of the lower realms. One wishes to achieve the higher realms. So there is a renunciation or desire to emerge from these lower realms, as there's this desire to have the arrow removed. In the small scope, there's this desire to have this removed. So one engages in the ethics, which abandons the 10 non-virtuous activities, goes for refuge to the 3 jewels of the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and then acknowledges one's downfalls if one is engaged in some sort of a negativity. By doing so, one is relieved of the suffering of those lower realms. So therefore, this type of practitioner does so because he or she wishes to be free of, in this case, the suffering of the lower realms. The next level, at the medium scope, so we're talking about the specific negation, what those specific scopes are looking to be free of or to negate, and being specific about it. So in the case of the arrow, it's a specific example. In this case, there's specific examples of what each of these practitioners wish to be free of. And then so the small scope is free of the suffering of the lower realms. In the medium scope, the suffering of cyclic existence is what one wishes to be free of. So the various sufferings, the 3 types of suffering, the suffering of change and pervasive compounded suffering, the suffering of birth, the suffering of aging, the suffering of sickness, the suffering of death. So all of these types of suffering in their subtle and coarse level are what the medium scope practitioner wishes to be free from. So this is their object of abandonment, if you will, or the object of negation, what one wants to get rid of. So In this case, one practices the three highest higher trainings and engages in those, and then it can be free of those. And then at the great scope, the Bodhisattva, the reason that it states in the 8,000 verse, getting back to that, Perfection of Wisdom Sutra about the Bodhisattva always crying, is the plight of sentient beings. So the sentient beings, the object of the Bodhisattva's desire to, what he or she wishes to remove, is the suffering of other sentient beings. So in this medium scope, the removal is of one's own suffering. And then in the great scope, it's the removal of the suffering of other sentient beings. So one generates love and compassion, wishing for them to have happiness in its causes and be free from suffering in its causes, and generates the desire to become a Buddha for the sake of sentient beings, because he or she wishes to rid sentient beings of their suffering. So that is the object of the Bodhisattva's abandonment, if you will. And what he or she wants to abandon is to see abandon, if you will. I'm trying to make it as literal as possible. Is the suffering of other sentient beings. So, because sentient beings are always suffering within cyclic existence, the Bodhisattva's mind is always saddened, because he or she wishes to free them from that suffering. So that's why the chapter is called "The Bodhisattva Always Crying." So because the Bodhisattva's wishing to get rid of the suffering of others. So that's how that ties in, the 8,000 verse Perfection of Wisdom Sutra with that. So and in that, Rinpoche is saying that it's very similar to what is spoken of, the idea of the specific object of removal is very similar to what Atisha is stating in the lamp about the specific scopes and their specific objects of removal. So that's the point. I apologize if there's anything in there that's just is incorrect, or the example isn't exact, but I believe that I got the essence of the meaning of it to the best of my ability.
What happened? Daring Azotene Larishim Karsore, Chim Dendrila, Tabila, Sanju Kumuntu Belantu, Range Tigures, could you need it? You are a Chungu the Tungu Lang Geshe Lharampa, did not Tungu Lang Ware, did not Tungu Lang Geshe Lharampa, Chimi Lang River Yunguares. The Yunguta, Tidu at Namgyal Monastery Tigures, Tombachi Chungu the Tumulanti. Then did the Tumulanti, then Chimi Lang Tigur, Tigur, Jisenkas, Jisen Jujumariva, Jujugan, that Jeba Chinsarwa, Jeba Tasarwa. That are Gubat and Rotendu, Gubatla, Gubat Nalula, Jebo. That Jeb Chungun, the Habasum Dudiores, Jeb Chungun, Habasum Dudiore, Jeb Dingal, the Habasum Dudiore. Chebe Chimbi Lade, Habasum Dudiores, Jebusum Langal, Habasum Dubate, or the Gubat Guba. And another Lanichibo, the Beijing and Dua.
Shine dan Laton.
Shine dan Laton Sajindua.
Shine dan Laton.
Goju Kusun,
Chapo triggered
Goju Kusun, Goju Kusun, then Tulma, Chisun, Nabal Naba. Tatana, Shine dan Laton. Shene the Laton Druba Matubi, Jodung Hajala, Ruba Yenchine, Chutinji Laba dance. Shene Dinganzi Laba, Dinganzi Nam, Senji Laba dance. Laton Shiraji Laba, London Jebel Sonsos, London Jebel Atisha, Patinjero, London Le Rande with the Rande. Atisha London Sombare, Tin Jeba Atisha Sombarwa. The
Delpa
London
T-shirt. Okay, auto commentary. Okay. Then the good so.
What the ancient
Namang answer the Treatise.
대 인체 베이 때마다 뭐도 당가 진로는 주 인체 진로는 곳을
That's a
내나
toga losa.
때마다 더 진짜 담을 제바
Ah, the
인체로
shinju dang. Okay.
대단하시네다 하도마도비 조도지 하자라 소바 인체네다 저 중앙라다 딩글라다 저 준비한 걸로 하바송 뒤에 봐이나 안에 투진지 하바데 나리 전부 가네 송버레스 송버스는 뜻이 거로되나 저도 샤주 생제 안에 샤주 조센스 말이 조센 샤주 선비 동바 샤주 선비 동바 하자 인체들 투진지 하바 송요레스 하바 송은 투진지 하바 안에 신에 가서 안에 띵한지 하바 하바 생지 하바 송버레스 안에 하동 가서 셔라지 하바 송버레스 하바 송도 된다 송도 요레스 말이야.
So then it, so
알아 때봐도 인체도 진로주다는 아니 되시잖아.
decent. No, decent.
야, 인체도 때만.
Gucci guson, pui, then.
배우 거주 고송래.
Okay.
tel
Shine
만지
did that.
다다나 신내 당사지도 와.
Okay.
어떤 말에 신내 당
Did that not shine? Okay.
신내 당 라도 드바 마두빈 주노질 하잘라 로바에 제네 수진질 라바당스.
Okay.
디바 수진질 라바 송요아레스.
Okay.
다시네는 띵엔진남 생질라바. 다 랑리 집시네 송사지요로. 어디 띵엔진라바 셔라 띵엔진라바 송바레스. 안나 하동 거 셔라질라바 송바레스. 어디 때마도 뭐도 이 인체들로잖아.
So I'm just going to read up to the point. So it says, the elder's lamp for the path says that, let me do this part first. So the students are led in stages through these pathways. So the pathways, for instance, the pathways that are shared in common with beings of small capacity lead to the pathways shared in common with beings of medium capacity that lead to the pathways for beings of great capacity. So these are stages that one goes through. So so this section that we're in is giving the reason for the student being led in these stages, and there are 14 points that are made, and we've finished 8 of the points. Then I'm going to read up to the point. So it says, the elder's lamp for the path to enlightenment says that you should develop meditative serenity for the sake of producing the super knowledges. He is found within the medium scope.
다 저분들 띵어지 라바데 시라지 라바데 대제마다 주루요.
Observation. 16 aspects of the Four Noble Truths, as well as concentration and wisdom that utilizes as its object of observation. Concentration that utilizes as its object of observation wisdom. And then in this vehicle, without having the object of observation of emptiness, one cannot achieve the state of foe destroyer. The state of foe destroyer, the destruction of the affliction, the abandonment of the afflictions, requires the union of calm abiding and special insight that has as its object of observation emptiness. So the object of the concentration in the medium scope case is emptiness, or again the topics such as the 16 aspects of the Four Noble Truths. But this is an indispensable part to becoming a foe destroyer, and without having this object of observation that recognizes selflessness, it's not possible to have cessation.
다 상주 semble 달 하바송 여러다 리도 통을 나지나 봐요. 최진지 라바 띵은지 라바 셔라 라바 송도 여버려. 대돌 들레 쳐봐도 하봐요. 상주 semble 마야나 말바.
So then, so that's the medium scope. So we have the object of observation is emptiness, and then the concentration is object of observation is emptiness, and then the wisdom's object of observation is emptiness. So I just want to make sure I was clear. The union of calm abiding and special insight is the concentration and wisdom, and the object of observation is emptiness and selflessness. So now moving on to the Bodhisattva vehicle, the great scope. The Bodhisattva practices all these higher trainings of ethics, concentration, and wisdom, but does so in an escalated format because of the his or her bodhicitta and being a great vehicle practitioner. So it's an escalated or a heightened form of these trainings. So this ninth point that Geshe Rinpoche is that within these three capacities, we find the three trainings, the three higher trainings within the different capacities, small, medium, and great. So this is the ninth point. Where are we? Where am I?
오아지 달 하바송 도테 단다 고바들 와들 하바 제베송 란데 하바송 두요 하바송 두요 어디 말에 제베 총 하바송도 와 딘 하바송도 와 제베 쳔벨 하바송도 와 단다도 와들 들레도 그러다.
So the point here is that within the small scope, within all of the scopes or capacities, we find the three higher trainings. We find the higher training in the small scope, in the medium scope, and in the great scope. So this is the summary of the point.
다 좁아도 된다 가르스는 좁아도 이돌아 케비치도 이어만 무슨 말이지. 근데 자주 생비랑라 소나고 초도 이식 소니 요아르스. 근데 하바송 요아르 어떤게 뒤나 템버 바주르바 제바 Jeba Jena, temper version, Drin Jena, 6 version, Dune Labason Dune Marba, Tad Shero, Tad Sherani, Tad Sherani Suiva, and then Shidur, Shindruchi, what the Nugga, you are Kibichet, what you are soon about is Juba.
So the 10th point deals with the various divisions of the practices. So here it speaks of, if we were speaking of perfections and practices, in the longest way we would say the 10 perfections, or we could say the 6 perfections, or we could shorten it to the 3 higher trainings. If we were to shorten it, so there, and then shorten it more, method and wisdom. So method and wisdom is a way to shorten it. So we're getting into this where we categorize this section that starts to categorize all these things.
What Juba did that then the Redo that Jian said and they shot. Taki de Jugo Maro. Jian Shenet, Jian Shenet, Magic Taji Chatan, so not just 2 down. Kundula Dembi Landan, Jachi Lanjiriba Yilas, Jachi Lanjiriba Yilas, so not to the Serba. Shira Jeba Jen, Sun Jebane, Shiraji Chatan, Eshi 2 down. Don't be Dembala Tembi, Sami Lanjiriba Yimbe, Tadaki Korinta, Trang Nebatan, Tashi Yadeji, Shanchu Mundubala, Neba, Champichiva Shawosa. Tetabi Suji, Sanji Sar, Yunde Jatu Chamber, Dru Jesse Dan, Jesse Dan Jabate, Jachewa Taji Chana. Masama maybe Gunduji Dembi Shubani Dangasu Jatsun Shatibandu, the Shady on the Landwa. Gunduji Dembi Shubatan, Gunduji Dembi Shubatan, Tokonani, Damabani, Labartubi, Dunatambi, Dambala Dembi Shubani, Den and Roa Sheji, Shashu Chatter, Lanchi Chashi, Shurizon and Roa Majete. Oman Jubal, Kundu Tin, Shuna Gabaji Juba, Nabi Jabatan, Ju Nabai, Dudu Dana Gilun, Shuduji, Jay and Jatu Parichudun Rose, what about the Relua? Tandan Makante taught them Sherogi Chabat Leding Dua, so now to the Ishik, so now to the Jubat, so now to the Ishik. Sanji Gumutubala, so now to the Ishik to Nigures. So now to Chambe Sanji to Umare, Shira Chambe Sanji to Umare, Niga Gores, Shaja Supported in Rubala Shubani Good was what the Nazi to the late Marbe.
Furthermore, all the practices up to and including meditative serenity constitute the factor of enlightenment called either method, the collection of method, the path that depends on conventional truths, or the stages of the vast path. So here we're putting these into categories now of those categories of method and wisdom. So we've gone through and shown more all of the different practices, and they're going to be put into the categories that they're. So this is the 10th point. So it says all the practices up to and including meditative serenity constitute the factor of enlightenment called method, the collection of merit. So the method is the collection of merit, the paths that depend on conventional truths, or the stages of the vast path. So these are all the same, and it says the development of the 3 kinds of special wisdom constitutes the factor of enlightenment called wisdom, the collection of wisdom, that which depends on ultimate truth, or the stages of the profound path. Therefore be certain about their order, the fact that they are a comprehensive list, and the fact that you do not achieve enlightenment by either method or wisdom alone. Then we get into an example we've used from the Madhyamika Avatar. It says, this is how the royal geese, the conqueror's children, who are on their way to the ocean, the great ocean of a Buddha's good qualities, spread their 2 wings and fly. 1 wing is conventional truths, all the factors of method, the vast path. The other wing, which depends on ultimate truths, is knowing well both reality and selflessness. However, they do not take up only a single part of the path, or fly like a bird with a broken wing. And then it quotes the Madhyamika Avatar. It says, as Chandrakirti's commentary on the Middle Way states, spreading the broad white wings of reality and conventionality, the royal geese, escorted by the flock of living beings, fly on the winds of virtue to supremacy on the far shore of a Buddha's ocean-like qualities. So here, it's necessary to include all of these practices and unite them in order to achieve the state of complete Buddhahood. Without having a union of method and wisdom, without having the collection of merit, which falls into the category of method, it's not possible to achieve Buddhahood. And without the collection of exalted wisdom, and going back, that falls under conventional existence, or here, conventionality. So without that, it's not possible. So that's the method side, the conventional side. And without the wisdom, which is the collection of wisdom or the ultimate truth, here it talks about reality. Up here it talks about it, it depends on the ultimate truths. So that's the category on the collection of wisdom, or exalted wisdom, that's necessary to have in order to become a Buddha. So it's necessary to have both method, and it qualifies method here. Method, and it says method is the collection of merit, and it says that all the practices up to and including meditative serenity are that, and then anything with the three special kinds of wisdom constitute the factor called wisdom, the collection of wisdom, and that which depends on ultimate truth. So it's saying here that one, just like a goose, the great goose that flies over the ocean to get to the other side, has to have both wings and can't fly with just one wing. Likewise, the bodhisattva, here it says the conqueror's children, which refers to a bodhisattva. The bodhisattva must have both the wings of the ultimate and conventional, both method and wisdom, both the collections of merit and collections of wisdom, in order to reach the other side here being the Buddhahood, reaching Buddhahood, going prajnaparamita to the other side. And here it says, on the far shore of a Buddha's ocean-like qualities. So to the other side, to the shore of the Buddha's qualities. So this is what the Bodhisattva is aiming to do.
다 신도여로 신도구나네 소나고 투가세요 아래 예시 투가세요 트베이나 담봉나도 소나 소레스 임바지 주진지 수바지 전주 산den가데 소나 소레스 소나 소임비 주생 가르레스 가르지는 소나 소레스나 저 고들라 조고다 초군이 요가레스 등 담봉나데 조구 라진 조지레스 또 조구 라진 조지 일단 소나 소레스 라바니 살자바이나 베지니 용 말베 소나 소나 시그 소게 네 베지니 요레스 소나 소 베지데 조주고드레스 롱고도 조고도 말베 에시그 소게 라제데 초고레스 초고 나제다 나제게 고덴도 말베 초고데 에시그 소 라제레스 조고데 소나고 소라지스 어디지 말이야. 파신 조는 담은가 취지 소나 소이데 주주 군이냐나 조고라지 주지 임베시.
Okay.
다들 돈이 또 싫어서 취지 싫어지 하바 취지 에시 소이데 주주 군이냐나 주고라지 주지 임베시. 어떻게 해도 말이야. 뭐드세요?
So the collections of exalted wisdom, or the collection of method and wisdom, or the collection of so method and wisdom, or the collection of merit and the collection of exalted wisdom, become like handprints. When one has two hands and leaves a print in the Chenmo. Good. Chenmo.
나바도 저는 바치
Chenmo.
베치니 용으로 베치 예박 베치 용으로 영바 베치 용으로
The Chenmo.
베치니 용으로.
Okay, so when one puts the hand, I just wanted to make sure I'm giving the right example. When one puts his or her hands down in the sand, it leaves an imprint. Likewise, method and wisdom, the collection of merit and the collection of exalted wisdom, leave specific marks or imprints that are left from them. So it's stated that the Buddha's truth body is caused by the collection of exalted wisdom, or the wisdom, and that the form body is caused by the collection of merit or method. So just like when one puts two hands down in the sand and it leaves an imprint or a mark, the mark that method and wisdom leaves are the marks that method and wisdom leave are the two bodies, the form body and the truth body. The truth body being divided into omniscience and the cessation in the Buddha's mind, and then the form body being the sambhokaya, robokaya. So these form bodies are created by method, and the truth body by wisdom. So in the long kabane, chu long chu chen, in the Prajnaparamita. Okay.
오마도 바시 그걸 요르다.
Okay.
이제된바니 초초도 말이야. 다시니 티베트에 랑지 거서 타듯이라니 상지 거서 레베니 레부군이. 이제된바니 랑다시 레부군이. Yeah.
So on the two truths and the two paths of method and wisdom, the two bodies are created. In the Prajnaparamita teachings and in the Madhyamaka teachings, we find these statements made where the fact that the truth body becomes so it says why the subject, the collection of merit, there has to be a Y in there, but the subject, the collection of merit is the subject method is a collection of merit because it necessarily produces the form body. The subject wisdom, which is a collection of exalted wisdom, is a collection of exalted wisdom because it necessarily forms the truth body. So method forms, in short, method forms the form body, and wisdom forms the truth body, the Dharmakaya and the Nirmanakaya, Robokaya, rather. So this is how the two bodies are created. And then, again, that quote, the two truths, the two paths of method and wisdom produce the two bodies. Independence upon the two truths, the two paths, method and wisdom, the two bodies are produced. So that's the meaning of that. So that's how the Buddhahood is created, or a Buddha is created by this union of method and wisdom. And neither is indispensable in that to create a Buddha.
So now to the issue to continue, passing to the data. So now to continue, Shosana, choose to continue to we listen about so now to 10 years. That's so now to the passing drew not among other, so now to his George London or London or says Barbarian on among other. So now so much is top.
Oh, yeah, the J.
Saturn to what
The Jason.
Shadow is issue.
So then, looking at the six perfections, how many of the perfections fall under the collection of merit, and how many fall under the collection of wisdom? The first five fall under the collection of merit. The generosity, ethics, patience, concentration, and effort all fall categorically under the collection of merit. And then the perfection of wisdom falls under the collection of wisdom. So five of the perfections are the collection of merit, and one of the collections is the perfection of I think I just said that wrong. One of the perfections is the collection of wisdom, and five of them are the collection of merit. So this is how we divide the 6 perfections into a collection of wisdom or a collection of merit. And in Atisha's, I think that's it.
What that passion Tambanga, so not to eat children couldn't do Zugulaji to him. That only to share to she to eat to Chugulaji to him. Laban salute example.
So I won't be able to give the exact, but they're in the Prajna Paramita, the collection of wisdom and the collection of merit are defined, and I can translate the exact definitions later. I have the text, but they're defined as and qualified by having them being what causes that impression of the truth body and that impression of the form body. So the collection of merit is that which is a method which gives rise to the form body, and the collection of wisdom is that which gives rise to the truth body. So that's within the definition, and I can get all the other exact details, but that's the main point of it, is that that's what qualifies it as a collection of merit if it produces a form body, and it qualifies it as a collection of wisdom if it produces a truth body.
타인 소나지 소레스 소나지 소다 군조라 대발을 댐비라 군조라 대발 댐비라레 자치 라지 림바레스 대소나고 소드렌도와 다드네 셔러 제바진 송 제바네 셔러지 차다 에시지 소다 또 담비 댐발라 댐바다 사미 라지 림바이 에시 소인서 말에 임베 대다기 고리다 장내다 다시 야만 다시 야되지 상주 로발라 다시 야되지로 다시 야되지 상주 몬로발라 나바 쳔베제바 샤오사 다시 야되 딱마데 상주 공토발라 타도 셔라 니가 고레스 타 잠베 상지 도 말에 셔라 잠베 상지 도 말에 야데스나 셔라 잠발 말에 타 잠바 어디 상지 도 말 니자 고레스 사지 자수바르든 로발라 쇼바니 고도스 어떤 라브레스 말베
음시 데제 돈치 the so top gunzopi lam de donchi this so
making not down marbe
chipa.
Yeah.
Okay. So here again we're going back. It says furthermore all the practices up to and including meditative serenity constitute the factor of enlightenment called either method, the collection of merit, the paths that depend on conventional truths, or the stages of the vast path. So all of those practices fall categorically under method or the collection of merit. And I asked Rinpoche if these are synonymous, and he's saying different ways of saying the same thing. But not synonymous necessarily, but different ways of saying the same thing. It would be synonymous, but I don't know. And then it says, the development of the 3 kinds of special wisdom constitute the factor of enlightenment called wisdom, the collection of wisdom, that which depends on ultimate truths, or the stages of the profound path. So here this is, again, showing these categorically fall under the collection of wisdom. And then, so here it's showing what is in the category of method, what falls in the category of wisdom, and then it says, therefore be certain about their order, the fact that they are a comprehensive list, and the fact that you do not achieve enlightenment by either method or wisdom alone. So the order, meaning the order of engagement of the method and wisdom mentioned already, and then the fact that one can't become enlightened with just one or the other. There has to be a union of the two.
다 셔러 제바진 다 예시가 두데 셔러 제바진 송스도와 셔러 제바진 송도 좋아서나 근조도 비셔러 전원도 비셔러 시진이 된시비 to be secret, Tenshi Bishira Sung the Rendo. Don't to be Shira, go to be Shira Nije, and the Sijay Tenshi to be Shira. Sijay Tenshi to be Shira Sung the water, is it two race? So not is it two either? Children couldn't on two Chugulaji in Bears. Go there to water rhythm.
Among example, the share up soon.
Yeah.
Tunjungi share up Sanjung. Yeah, will do.
Go to be Shira, Larichibu Hotel, Latunka to you, Latunka.
Okay.
Shira in a song. Go to be Shira, not to be Shira. Sijay to be Shiras.
Lesser.
What
Yeshake.
Go to be Shira. Nello Rebato, not to be Shira. Sijay to be Shira Sumarva. Go to be Shira, that Rebinanga to be Shira Marva. Rebi, do the jail, Rebinanga Tala Keba Majina, Paju Geja, Tajishab Tuminjurus. Rebinanga Keba Gogres, Rebinama Makena, Saji to Maris, Papa Ina, Saji to Maris. Theodore, Rebinang, do the jail, do the jail. Rebinanga the Marva. Dariba, Samariba, Nije, then Suariba, Zoriba, Nije, then Nanuriba, Mariba, Nanuriba. That Samariba, Dariba, need the Kajin Jabarisna, and then Chulmagakin Zukangalo, Saji Dale, Samariba, the Dariba, need the Resita, Tubazuya. Gorota, and then Kazuko. That should Nigam Lusakan do not tell them to Gorota, Dariba, the Samariba, Yavaina, down the Kadu. What the rest is that? That should remember the Kangalo, Jesus will be Cheto, Suariba down, Zoriba, member Sumari, member, Sui member down, Kensig member down, what to Sumari, the Susan Pedu, Mariba. And the combat Zoyada, Hajinada, what to go, Zoriba, Zoriba. Sijan Penta Vichedo, Suariba, Zoriba in dress.
Then they Gare, Dundampi, Gunzopi, Sentient Dun, Gare, Nangla.
Don't to be shero, Nanga Reba, Kunzu to be shero, Kunzu to be shero, the Ribinanga ship is shero. Is my wood.
Okay. Then ripping Enga, the Gunzopi share up.
Ribinanga Karjin Javares. Then Dariba, Samariba, Yen Kasugre, Tajib Shedresita, Jobatuin, Yenle, never die. Mandiba to Kaya, Samariba, the Dariba in the rest, Dariba Sanskrit.
The words.
Samariba down the road.
Grammar words.
Down the
valid cognition.
What the Yen Sajibi, Yola Res. That Yen
Sajibi Yenla.
That Yabu Rongal also could join the Kurunga to Kagro. What Saji was over the Marba. Saja.
Sa, okay.
So Saji was. And the jail had paid up to Suariba, members of Marba, Suariba. Can see me, Tibi me, Marsen, what the Jane Pay, and the Kambazuya. Then Jim Mozuya, what the Jane Pay. Then none of about Sanji go to be said to rest. Wouldn't do wood.
So later on, it's going to explain this. Rinpoche said in the text more clearly in the special insights section. But here it speaks of the three kinds of special wisdom. The development of the three kinds of special wisdom. This is referring to the wisdom, ultimate wisdom, conventional wisdom, and the wisdom recognizing the needs of sentient beings. So these are the three types of wisdoms, and they're later on in the special insight section. If one in the third volume you can just go and look up all this information. So if there's anything I miss, it's all going to be in there. These are so it says the factor of enlightenment called wisdom. So the development of these three kinds of wisdoms falls categorically under the collection of exalted wisdom and that which gives rise to the truth body. So this is the qualification of it. This is what qualifies it as a collection of wisdom, that it necessarily gives rise to the truth body. So it says the collection of wisdom and that which depends on ultimate truths, or the stages of the profound paths. And then Rinpoche was talking about the five sciences, or five arts, the five knowledges, I think they're called, the five knowledges, and referring to grammar, the valid cognition, medicine, construction, and what's the other one? The Buddhist, I can look the fifth one up, but the five... Samaripa, Vilasa.
Dariba, Samaripa, Lasa, Suariba, Zuariba, Memba to Samariba. Memba Gulu. Then the Zuariba, the Kama Zuya, and the Relazuya, Nandu Zuya, not to Samariba.
Construction.
Motazuya.
Yeah.
Motor company, train company, plane company to Sumariba. Zuariba.
Construction. Zua. Construction.
Jala
Semaripa. Daripa. Zuri. Soripa.
Zuariba. Suariba Mero, man. Zuriba Sana, Nadu Zuya, Nadu company.
Then what's the last?
Train company, motor company, Nandariba,
Nabichu.
Nandariba. Sanji going to be.
Okay, so that was it. The how one becomes a Buddha. The Buddhist sciences is the fifth one. So it's valid cognition, grammar, medicine, construction, and then the Buddhist pathway, or the way that one becomes reaches unsurpassable complete enlightenment. Sanjay Gubantu. So these all fall categorically under knowings or wisdoms. So these are 5 categories of wisdom that would fall under these collections, under the conventional wisdoms. Conventional wisdoms. We had the ultimate wisdoms, conventional wisdoms, and the wisdom knowing other sentient beings' needs. These are conventional wisdoms. But also we would say they'd fall categorically under the needs, because sentient beings, if we look at the grammar and we look at valid cognition, you can utilize this to negate wrong views, and so we can utilize these things to come up with a correct view, valid cognition, negate wrong views. And then looking at medicine and construction and so forth, this is very beneficial to others. This is by knowing how to do such things, making airplanes, making houses, being a doctor, a dentist. So these are 2 categories, medicine and construction. All of these are beneficial and helpful to others, as is then the last category of wisdom, about how to reach complete enlightenment and the wisdoms contained within that. So these are all just examples of the 5 wisdoms, or it's called the 5 knowledges, I think, also sometimes.
Shindu yoro, Shindu the Korean countries, and Thomas Yiba Marbe, shooting Zoba, Tundu, something Shiro. What the Zukalo, Hama juries, Shama Deburis Marbe, Jimba de shooting jure, shooting Jimmy Debure, and then shooting Jimba shooting Zoba Marbe, Zoba is shooting Debiro, then Oma did Deburis.
So the 6 perfections have a cause and effect relationship with one another. Generosity causes ethics, which causes patience, which causes concentration, which causes effort. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Ethics, generosity causes ethics, which causes patience, which causes effort, which causes concentration, which causes wisdom. So the 6 perfections are in an order of cause and effect. They relate to one another in that way, in a specific order.
다 오마 줘발에 바시 줘는 바시 도모가도 밀롱한다 그랬어. 밀롱아. 아니 싫어 바시도 미여 간다 그랬어. 싫어 바시라 때네 아니 바시 도모가도 사지 살래. 튀는 거였어. 미대 집을 지금 너봐 유도 티바드 좀도 양루 매년 오만 줘봐 산지 줘본 공부도 그래. 바시 도망가는 밀롱한다 그랬어. 싫어고 바시는 미여 간다 그랬어. 싫어고 바시라 때네 바시 도망가도 사지 살 튀는 그랬어. 미여가 미치게 아니 농아 자도 동가로 그런 데버를 튀는 거. 보자요.
Then the Umajupa
제달롱이 조금 들라도 메대 집을 지금 너봐이 유도 trepa tijinde yang lu minyang yang den lang jenin sanji zhubang gong gu lu yung gu.
So then it's the Longyanja?
제달 롱이 조금 들라도 메대 집 마진 이제 제달 롱이 조금 들라도 메대 집을 지금 너봐이 유도 trepa tijin yang lu minyang yang den lang jenin ro스. 바시 도망가도 농한다 그랬어. 근데 싫어 바시는 미유 간다 그랬어. 미로아 뭐부터 미유 간지 그런 데 봐요 로말 튀는 거 봐. 된나지 미대 싫어대. 근데 미로아 답이 바시 도망가 선지살 튀는 거 그랬어.
So Rinpoche is comparing it to like a blind person that's led through the Buddhist stages, and there's a quote in the Madhyamika Avatar that supports this. It's got to be right here. It's just hard on the spot to find these things sometimes, but. Jimba. Go.
Go Mazi, go Saji Droba, go there's Mazi.
Kaptambo.
Marba got no mare, Saji Drupa.
Oh, Drupa, Gongel Mepachi. 6th chapter. Okay. Which is the longest chapter. Not going to find it in time. I can feel the clock ticking. I can get it later. It's okay. I really want to find this. Gemma Chishin she going to be
Gemma Tandi, Gemma
yeah, Gemma, Gonga Mepishi, Ratu Mai. Whatever is perceived with dim defective sight has no validity compared with what is seen by healthy eyes. Just so a mind deprived of spotless wisdom has no power to contradict a pure, untainted mind. Then the Meek Law Yuna, then Meek Yapu Yuna. Kakare. That thing.
Chetalongi Choku Delado, Mede Chibichi, Doba, Yudu Chiba, Tijinde Anlu, Mena and Jenny Rus. Memi, you can get a meal one, Mebukuru, Doba,
So it's saying here, these are wrong. So whatever is perceived with dimmed, defective sight has no validity compared with what is seen by healthy eyes. So just a mind deprived of spotless wisdom has no power to contradict the untainted mind. So here it's showing how one is guided through wisdom to guided through wisdom, and it's comparing us to one with defective sight who needs to be led by someone who has correct sight. And here it's saying spotless wisdom. We're in the section on the collection of wisdom. So here this is showing how wisdom, I'm pretty sure that this is the quote. If it's not, next week I'll let everyone know. But I think that's the quote that we're referring to right now.
다 간데 바신 도문가데 밀로와나 버레스.
So it's like being blind in the first parts of the Prajnaparamita.
시라 바신데 조시발라 때네 바신 도문가 손지살로 버레스.
So by relying on the perfection of wisdom, one can go to the Buddha ground. So it's like becoming unblinded. By relying on this perfection of wisdom, one can go to the Buddha ground, Sanjay Sat.
다 시라고 돌로 송도와 근조도 비시라 도도 비시라 시제 되셔도 비시라 송도. 대송 거리도 가르제스. 근조도 비시라 도도 비시라 등에 이제 도도 비시라 그 주시 발라 때네 근조도 비시라 좀 거지. 근조도 비시라 그 시제 되셔도 간다 있는데 제 따지도 왔다.
Dasidan.
단위 되면 타수 줘봐도 도돈 되면 타준 줘봐도스. 근조 되면 또 발라 때는 도돈 되면 또 벌써 그냥 아무 지 오만 줘도 이래. 레데 도돈 되면 그냥 또 그래서 도돈 되면 또 사도 하는 것도 비셔도 되죠 그래서.
Oh, 네. Tambo Dundam Bishira, then Gunzo Bishira.
존나 대바 말을 시사도 되네. 최도 그걸 주만 나지. 주마시 온 거래. 근조 쇼도 그래서.
So it's stated that, so there are three types of wisdom: the ultimate wisdom, conventional wisdom, and wisdom knowing the needs of others. And what order do these arise in? And in the Madhyamika Avatara, again, it states that and this is all new information, so it states that the ultimate wisdom arises, and then based on recognizing the lack of true establishment, then conventional wisdom arises, and then there's a debate as to whether then it should be that or the wisdom that realizes the needs of sentient beings. So we would say that generally that the conventional wisdom arises from the ultimate wisdom and then the wisdom realizing the needs of other beings, but there's a question as to the second two.
타바 드 많이 베시 사도 타바 드렌지 불로도 로로시 먹고는 말배. 타바 드렌이 봐도 좀 많이 먹고는 말배. 너무 타바 드 많이 베시 소나? 안 타바 드렌지 불로도 로시 먹고는. 단 자기 안는 저리샤스. 타바 드렌지. 나 주는 데바 말로 베시 사도 nenzi 못
they. Okay. So then if so when one recognizes a rope is a rope, as one walks into a dark room and previously thought a rope was a snake and then recognizes that it is a rope, then one can see it for it being a rope. Likewise, that's the reason for the ultimate is once one realizes ultimately what it is, then one can see it for what it is, the lack of not being truly established. So that's the reasoning behind it. So once one knows that the rope is a rope, then this negates the idea that it is a snake. Likewise, once one knows the lack of true establishment, then one knows not that it is not truly established in a conventional sense. So first one realizes its ultimate nature and then recognizes it in the same way that one recognizes the ultimate nature of this is a rope, not a snake, and then sees it as conventionally as a rope. It's similar in this way. And we're going to get into this section now, and we'll be able to have more information that'll build on it and make this more clearer as we go forward. We're slowly going to go over this, and then we'll develop the understanding as we go. The Dalai Lama has so many teachings, and other teachers have many, many teachings, so you can look at all of these different teachings and then arrive at the understanding of these sections. And then if you study many different things, then you'll slowly understand this information. It looks maybe we're out of time. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Tuesday.
So we'll do the concluding mandala offering and dedication prayer. The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. I dedicate whatever virtues I have collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of Venerable Losang Drapa to shine forever. I send forth this mandala to you, precious Guru. I dedicate all this virtue to emulate the knowledge of the hero Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra as well, with whatever dedication is praised as supreme by all the conquerors who traverse the 3 times. I also dedicate my virtue for the sake of auspicious deeds. In that pure land surrounded by snowy mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness. All-powerful Avalokiteshvara Tenzin Yatso, may you stay until samsara's end. I pray for the long life of the precious Khensur Wandak, upholder of scriptural and realizational doctrines, the spiritual friend, trained extensively in the 5 great philosophical texts, exceptional wisdom and perseverance. Thank you, everyone, for listening well.